217 Recovery Podcast. It is Sunday, the 11th of August, 2019. My name is Corey Winfield. Thanks for listening. Kind of flying solo right now. Rad Dad, not sure where he's at, but he's having another big day. Yesterday was his birthday, and today, his sobriety date. He's got his 5 months, so big congratulations to Rad Dad. He's doing the thing, and I like him, man. When he came in here a couple months ago into the house that, I'm living in, he was kind of standoffish at first, but he took to 217 recovery pretty quick. You could tell he wanted to be a part, and he just saw us and the guys that were a part of 217 doing good things and being active and proactive with our recovery. So big props to Ryan, and he helps me stay sober too. So big thanks again to him, and I want to say hello to his family. I know his sister listens all the time, so thanks for listening. Thanks for the stickers, and we'll be ordering from you very soon, hopefully. And then, speaking of soon, things are going to be changing soon. You got football coming up. Still have like 2 or 3 spots open in the fantasy football league. So 217 Recovery Sober League, you want to be in it. It's the first time ever playing sober. It'll be fun. I mean, I had spurts, but the whole season, this will be my first time. And it's a bunch of people. I think me, Bobby, there's only a couple of people that have ever even played before. So it's pretty cool to see, like, Ryan and Matt. Well, Matt actually is not in the league yet, but he's going to be. But it's nice to see those guys, like, kind of go out of their comfort zone. And I'm telling you, it's not about, it is about football, obviously, but it's more about the bonds that you make. A friend of mine, Matt Beebe, he was like, man, I think I talked about this already, but he was like, man, I was out there, I used to play football. Like, because he was an athlete, like, he's too cool to play fantasy football. Like, that's for the nerdy kids. Come on, Matt, grow up, bro. Join the league already. What, you afraid you're going to lose? Oh, kind of like you did at Euchre all the time. I get it. Matt doesn't like to lose, and we gave him enough beatings at Euchre. What's up, Matt? Now you got to join, man. But if you do want to join, I would join quick. I'm not just talking to Matt, I'm talking to you as well. But things are changing, though. Football's coming up, and I enrolled back in college, which I'll be going to North Central Michigan, Southwest. I don't know. To me, it's just a little silly. Central, North. I don't know. Anyway, I can't wait. It's all designed around 217 recovery, the classes that I'm taking. And like new digital media, which I think will be a fun class. Just stuff that'll help. I have 20 years radio experience, which definitely helps, but getting into the nitty gritty stuff, I wish they would offer classes on like charity work and stuff like that. I know some colleges do, but they don't here. Because obviously 217 Recovery is a nonprofit, and moving forward with that in the future, it's just going to be great. I was talking to a friend of mine, Kirk, today, and he was telling me some things and some great advice, because I start to get overwhelmed sometimes with the things that I want, and I want it all now, and I want it to happen now. And even my therapist, I see a therapist once a week, which I recommend, but she's like, well, you want this all to happen, and you feel like you're dragging everybody with you. And I'm like, well, that's what it does feel like. Not that I'm dragging them, but when I look at Ryan and I say, this is what we're doing, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. And I look at Matt and I say, this is what we're going to do. I don't want to let those guys down, so I work a little extra to make sure these things are happening. And Kendra and Taylor was reaching out. He wants to start something in Gaylord. It's like, I want to do that too. Amanda in Traverse City, she's like, I'm down. What can I do? And it's like, I want to start a business that employs people in recovery. Now, obviously, we'd have to hire other people too, but I want to prove that we can do it. And I don't want people to think, because that's the first thing I got when I was talking about this idea that I had for like a transportation thing. And, you're going to hire people in recovery? You better have a backup plan. What are you going to do when, half your staff decides to relapse together? And I'm like, why would I even think that? We're living the good life. We're doing the thing. Does it happen? Yeah. It happens every single day, people calling in sick when they're just hungover. So, a little different. Like, if I were to take one drink, it'd be over. So that's why I'm not taking one drink. I know I can't, and I don't want to smoke any pot. I don't want to do anything. I really do like having a clear head, and then it really makes me think about how much damage I've actually done and some of the things that I'll forget. The other day I was driving home from work, and I take this same way every single day, except for that one day when I got stuck or almost stuck and lost. And yeah, Don't Leave Me Here, I think was the name of that podcast. If you haven't heard it, go check that out. God was all about it that day. But I was on my way home. Next thing I know, I'm on some other road. I'm like, what? What just happened? Like, not even thinking, I just made a left. I have to go right. And I've driven this road, I don't know how many times, hundreds of times probably. I don't know why I drove left. I don't know what made me think. I don't know. I wasn't thinking, but that was kind of scary. I was like, man, I wonder if that happens to other people. I have my 8 months coming up this week. So looking forward to that. And I'm just like, man, like, what's going on in my brain? Was I really thinking that hard about other stuff that I think I'll take a left. Like, I don't know. It's pretty weird. Very weird, actually. But, hey, it's better than waking up hungover going, wait, who's that? What did I do last night? Those are the worst feelings. But, anyway, with things changing, college is going to start. And I wanted so bad to have 217 further along before that happened, but I'm going to be so busy with school and trying to work still and do 217 stuff. I think I have enough on my plate where I can just kind of sit back, relax, and not just sit back, relax, but sit back and just move forward one step at a time instead of trying to cram it all in and do things wrong. Just let God do it. That's what I need to do. I need to just trust God that He's got me and take that jump, and don't make fun of me for saying this, but Steve Harvey wrote a book called Jump. And if you want something good to read that book. He talks about when he screwed up the Miss America or whatever it was, Miss USA pageant. He talks about that. And he talks about trying to be a comedian and sleeping in his car and the struggles that he had. And the fact that, if he would have just stayed in his little shell and played it safe, he wouldn't be where he's at today. He had to go outside himself a little bit. He had to trust God. He had to take that leap. He had to jump and trust that God was going to be there to catch him. But it is a really good read. I read it on a silent retreat. I know. That was pretty interesting too. Went to the Hermitage or something like that. It's HERMIT Hermitage, something like that. Anyway, it was in, I think, just north of Three Rivers, Michigan. So if you haven't done a silent retreat, you can check that out. But that is a good book, though, and it just kind of makes you realize that without taking some chances, and are you going to fail sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. Am I going to fail? Yeah, absolutely I will. But I don't look at it like failing. I look at it like, okay, that didn't work out like I wanted it to. Let's move it to this way. It's about how you frame it in your mind, too. And you have to remember, that's why if, you do go back out and, start to drink again, if you're in recovery now, maybe you're in active addiction, don't beat yourself up over it. It's what you do. It's not what you did. It's what you're doing. So remember that. A friend of mine, we'll call him Mark. That's kind of his name. I know it. Yeah, it's a good time. We're having fun, aren't we? But he reached out to me and said that his wife's family and his family had came to her and said, I'm concerned about Mark's drinking. And the stuff just brings me back to situations that I was in. When people first approached me about my drinking, I was in Arkansas. I think it was no, it was before that. My mom had told me, like, you need to stop drinking too much. And yeah, whatever, I'm good. I got a job, I got a car, I got a house. I'm doing just fine. I can't be an alcoholic. But those things you will lose because it's a disease that's very progressive, 2 beers become 4 beers, 4 beers become 8. Now you got to drink a whole 12-pack to even get the same buzz. It's the tolerance. You build it up, and it's very dangerous. And when I was in the courtroom, I heard some people sigh when the judge read off what my blood alcohol level was, and he said we would all be in a coma, every one of us but you. And that's scary to think that you drank that much, that you built up that kind of tolerance. And I was like, yeah, that's probably not a good thing, but that's how it works. But my friend, who we're calling Mark, said that he doesn't have a problem, and he just likes to go in the basement and drink a few glasses of whiskey, and just it calms him down. Otherwise, he's just a wreck. His anxiety's really bad. And I sounded like a doctor, but I didn't mean to be. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not anything like that. I'm a professional radio broadcaster, though, and a cool cat that's in recovery. I can offer those. But he said that, and it just made me think back to when I used to say stuff like that. And first of all, some red flags immediately come up that he's defending alcohol. And like a therapist in Benton Harbor once told me, his name was Pana. He's a great guy. But he told me, he's like, Corey, you are protecting the bottle. Like you're shielding it. Like you don't want anything to hurt it. You can't say anything bad about my bottle. You can't say anything bad about this. And he was absolutely right. I would blame other people. I would blame my ex-girlfriend. I'm like, well, that wasn't my fault. It was Katrina's fault because she did this and she said that and whatever. It's my mom's fault. It's everybody's fault but mine. Okay, maybe it's a little bit of my fault, but whose fault it's not? It's not the alcohol's fault. I would protect it so much, and that kind of seemed like that's what Mark was doing. I could have a couple glasses, and yeah, some people can. And I used to drink with Mark back in the day. We were really close friends, and I don't know. I'm not in his shoes. I'm not at his house, but I bet you if that were me, I would be saying I'm just having a couple drinks a night, which still. Why? First of all, what's the point of having one drink? What's the point of having 2 drinks? For me, it's a waste of time, man. Why would you mess around with that? But if that was me, there would be a couple fifths hidden around the basement somewhere, and I put money on it that he does, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with that when you're denying it, and especially, if he's going to ask me. What the deal is, then just be straight up with me, and I'll be straight up with you. But I started talking like a doctor because he busted out the anxiety stuff, and I was like, well, the serotonin in your brain, like the serotonin that your body is making is from the alcohol. It's giving you that, ooh, feel good. Yeah, feel good. Well, when you stop drinking, and this is very common for most people when they do stop drinking, it's hard to go to sleep. It's hard, and they try to give you trazodone, which, it's hard to wake up, but that will pass. Just give it some time. Seriously, just give it a little time. But he was wanting to find excuses. He was wanting, I think, me to say, oh, yeah, Mark, people do drink a couple drinks every single night, and it takes their anxiety away, which really it doesn't. It actually can cause anxiety. I mean, it can relax you for a minute, but when your body is all of a sudden look for that alcohol again, and that's why the next night he's like, whoa, wow, man, I don't know how I'm going to sleep, because your body's wanting that alcohol. You're putting it in there just like gas in your car, and I don't try to, of course I don't sound like a doctor talking about putting gas in your car, but I'm not even trying to act like I'm some kind of professional at it. I'm just saying these are things that I've learned, and it makes total sense. That's why I don't mind being on Zoloft, and it's a very small dose, because you get a large dose. Talk about that in private, but it's it helps with the levels. And when you